Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It is a little weird having to turn my head left and right, so let me start off by saying, please excuse the room. I think all of you would have noticed what's going on in this building. Alistair mentioned change. Well, the one place where you're seeing lots of change is in this building. We would have held the awards in what was the 1881, the members' lounge, everybody's well aware of. It is no more. It has been knocked down and in the process of being rebuilt into something absolutely sensational. We're busy scrambling because our season is fast approaching and we want to get as much done and complete by the time we return to Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. So thank you for indulging us. But I think those of you who have been in this Peninsula room before, it looks nothing like it used to. I'm sure you would remember. Gone are the days of the blue carpet that the folks at CSI could have a field day trying to test what was in that carpet. The mold, the low ceilings, the hospital ceilings. Hopefully you guys are embracing the change that you're seeing. Before I start, I really want to give a heartfelt thank you to everybody in this room and those that are following online. To the owners that are here, I've said it constantly, there is no sport without the owners. We've made the owners the focal point of what we're trying to achieve within Cape Racing. So thank you to all the owners that are here. All the breeders, of course, we don't have an industry if you are not breeding your beautiful horses. To our trainers, our jockeys, our grooms, the farriers, the vets, the transporters, the list goes on and on. A big thank you to everybody that's part of this family for helping us get through what has been a very interesting year, which I'll touch more on in a second. Awards. We're here for awards. A lot of people said, well, what's the point of having awards? And quite frankly, I was part of that group not long ago. And when I think about it, when I think about the sport, the one thing, when that video was put on and you see the horses running, I think the one thing that binds all of us is just an absolute passion for the sport and for these animals. That's the one. I mean, I just wonder why we all go through it and have put up with what we put up over the years and the decades, because it's spine-tingling stuff. And we are all so passionate about it. And you know what? Why not sit back and reflect and celebrate our champions, be they champion horses, be they champion trainers, be they champion jockeys or owners. And I think it's a brilliant time to look back and also to regenerate our excitement for the year that lies ahead. So I think awards actually serve a very important part, and we are thrilled to be hosting this year's awards. I do want to just, there'll be a few things, I'm not going to speak for long, maybe a few things I say will be slightly controversial, but I've never been known to pull my punches. The awards are different this year. You may not notice it. You certainly will from next year. The awards used to be put on by the ROA. They are no longer put on by the ROA, and the reason for that is that I insisted that they were not putting on the awards. When I came on board, as part of what I needed to do a fair amount of due diligence on what was going on in terms of why we were in the predicament that we were in, and I didn't like what I saw. I'm not going to get into the details, but you would have noticed that Cape Racing has severed ties with the ROA, and it's not for some petty reason, it's for a substantial reason. So when it came to this year's awards, I said, Cape Racing will not be participating in the awards at all, as long as the ROA is part of it. And the other operators came together and agreed that the operators instead would do it on their own. So what you may not have noticed is this year there was no ROA contribution towards the awards. The first awards, the national awards, were put on this year by 4 Racing, so it may have looked and felt similar to what you've seen previously because they went first in the rotation. Next year will be Cape Town, the year after that will be Durban, back to Joburg, and so on. That's how it's going to be changing. So the national awards are not going to be in Joburg next year. The national awards will be here. The year after that, the national awards will be in Durban, and so it goes on. So that's the difference. So next year, I think when we have these awards, they will be at the same time as the national awards. So I think you will see next year will be, once our building is complete, we have a year and we're in control of our turn on the rotation next year. I can promise you an absolutely stupendous show for next year. For now, it feels like we're in transition. It feels like we've been in transition for a long time, and this room is certainly part of that transition. Next year, we'll be in a separate venue, albeit here. So before I get going, I think we'd all agree, and Alistair said it when he started off. I mean, a year ago, I remember where I was this time a year ago. I remember it was just before the Hollywood Bets Durban July a year ago. And it was the Thursday before the Hollywood Bets Durban July, which was on the Saturday. And Cape Racing couldn't make its payroll. It couldn't pay salaries. And so that's when I remember I made a very quick bridge loan to fund salaries 2 days before the Hollywood Bets Durban July. The next day, the deal got signed, and here we are basically a year later. And I hope you would all agree with me, it just feels different. This will be the last, I think I've got a year to keep repeating the same stuff, so you've all heard it all before, just indulge me. But what a year it's been. And what I'd like to ask you all to do is I can tell you, coming in, when certainly I felt when I walked into the building, it felt like I was walking into a morgue. It felt dead. It was just, there was no energy, there was no vibe, the culture was too terrible. Everything needed to change, absolutely everything. And the thing that I'm proudest of 1 year later is of the team that we've assembled at Cape Racing. And I can tell you, you can talk about stakes and money and new coats of paint. I can tell you right now, that is nothing without the team that we put together. From everybody within the Cape Racing executive team, to the marketing, to the catering, to security, to parking, to everywhere. I would hope that all of you that have been coming to races have experienced the freshness, the passion, the energy, something that's been lacking for over a decade. So if I can ask you please just to acknowledge the entire team at Cape Racing with a round of applause. Okay, so let me just quickly, let me give you a snapshot. We've had the year, we've had our first year behind us, so what lies ahead? What are on the plans? Firstly, it is always in the cards to continue to increase stakes and incentives. I've said at the beginning, owners are pivotal. The economic equation of owning racehorses has been upside down. We wanted to give owners a chance to cover their keep, at least a meaningful portion of the keep, so doing stimulating demand, which stimulates for the breeders, and on it goes. The plans are to keep going. Plans are to keep going. We want to continue to keep moving forward from a stakes perspective. I think that's really important. The next big thing that you guys should all be looking out for, and you would have heard it, and I can't get into all the details, but what's going on at this particular property will blow your mind. I wish I could tell you everything. The reason I cannot is because you've got to go through lots of city processes and permits and what have you with public opinions, and I don't want to sort of play the hand, but too much. But this property is going to be active all the time. All the time. So it's not just going to be a case of I'm going to Hollywood Bets Kenilworth to watch racing. Families are going to say we're going to Hollywood Bets Kenilworth because of all the various activities that are going on at all the time. Very, very exciting stuff. I can't wait to share that with you. You're getting a glimpse of what's going on. And by the way, I got so many questions about the Cape Turf Club and should I join Centurion and what does it mean in terms of parking? Well, parking's at a premium because of everything that we have going on. There's only so much parking going around, so it was a genuine thing. You will see new parking lots having to be built elsewhere on the property because of the new layout of what's going on here. But let's, all racing people in this room, let me tell you some really exciting stuff. I don't know if any of you have noticed the rails. I guarantee you John Freeman has, because John Freeman studies every ounce of every picture on the broadcast. The rails have been around since 19 what have you. We have ordered new rails, completely new rails, top of the line rails. Justin Formarka paid the deposit yesterday. They're on their way, they're being shipped. Every inch of rail is being changed to the new top-of-the-line railings that have give and are good for horses. If horses get bounced up against them, will look beautiful. So we're super excited about that. One of our other big projects, which you will see, I'm hoping we'll be ready for season, is we are going to have the most beautiful finish lines. Not just this little photo finish camera, but when you go to Churchill Downs, when you go to Flemington and you see these beautiful finish posts, we're doing the same. Our main finish line is going to be on the straight. On the summer and winter course, it's going to be mobile because we need to be able to move the finish line depending, but it's going to be gorgeous. The new winner's circle is being enlarged. No more do we want to celebrate our winners in the front, but if you came second, third, or fourth, please go to the back. No more. We celebrate everybody that's bought horses. We celebrate everybody up front. We want all the people here to be celebrating them. And that's what you see. So you've noticed, if you were to look out the window, lots of things being knocked down, stages being knocked down, new studio, new winner's podium. It's going to be sensational. I'm hopeful we'll be ready. I'm not sure we will. We have literally pushed these builders to breaking point. There's a lot of tired, stressed people. We're doing our best, which is why you're going to see we're going to spend a little bit longer at Hollywood Bets Durbanville than we normally would, because we can't have racing here while we have all this work going on. So please bear with us, but it's very exciting. Over at Hollywood Bets Durbanville, we're in the middle of a massive development. Not ready to announce it yet, but it's going to be a very big residential development taking place at Hollywood Bets Durbanville, in the middle of the track, around the outsides of the track. A multi-billion rand development. That's going to be very profitable for us. 100% of the profits are going to stay within racing. Not one penny gets dividended out. 100% of the profits will be reinvested in stakes, facilities, owners, trainers, bonuses, incentives. The whole purpose is, I need to stop working here. This was never meant to be a job. This was meant to be just resuscitate the patient and move out. But this entity, this living, breathing organism needs to be self-sustaining. That is a way that's going to create permanent capital for this business to enable it to go from strength to strength, so that every year we can come here and celebrate our successes and not worry about where the next stake check is coming from. As we're growing more, and I'll give you some stats in a second, we are getting more and more people wishing to come to the Cape, which is good news. It's very good news. Problem is, we are space constrained. Our training facility at Milton is space constrained. The tracks can only handle so much. So we're starting with new tractors, new technology. There's so much going on there. We're going to create more boxes at Milton. We are going to be doing a lot more to expand there. But that's only going to cater for so much, and we're going to need to go and expand from a training facility basis as well. So we are busy looking at that. And then most important, and I think half the room are the breeders. You've heard me say it before, I'm going to say it again, which is, the thing about this industry, that this industry has scored more own goals than any other industry. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot over and over and over again. And why? It's to what Alistair said. He didn't know that I was going to be saying this, but he started off about change. Is old habits die hard. People don't like change. So why 90% or 80% of the horses leave here to go up to Joburg to get sold, to then come back when they're allowed to come back at that cost is madness. And why do we do it? Because we have a sales ground there. Okay, well, times change. When the EU process is complete, and when ultimately the good news is delivered, and when ultimately we start, our breeders, our wonderful breeders are selling their horses internationally, you want those international buyers coming. You want them buying our horses. I don't want them to buy too many because we need them here. But when they come, that international sales calendar is so busy, there's only going to be one sale that they're going to come to, just from a time perspective. You tell me where they're going to want to come to. You tell me where they want to come to. So when I have this conversation, I'm like, why are we doing this, guys? So what I'm going to ask you to do, what I said to you a year ago, what Justin Vermaak's been doing, going around to every farm, give us your best. Put them on the Cape sale. Trust me, We're in conversations with Hong Kong and international jurisdictions. When it comes, they'll come here. You've had a year to see how we operate. Hopefully, we've silenced a lot of the doubters, and you know we will succeed. If you build it, they will come. Take the plunge. Put your best on our sails, please, I ask you. So that's as it relates to Cape. The other thing, the other development, of course, that you may have read about is Gold Circle. Myself and Hollywood Bets offered 500 million to Gold Circle, or 500 million to go into racing in Durban, to really do in Durban what we've done in the Cape. There is a vote that's happening on September the 19th. The members get to vote. If they don't approve it, then it's self-evident what will happen. If they approve it, we then need to go through the regulatory process, which could take up to a year, and then Gold Circle, Cape Racing. Really, you can see coastal racing. Don't know what the name will be, but you can see it's Durban and the Cape. And I think it's the preeminent races that this country has to offer. And I think the excitement that we have here, we will then look to deliver to the East Coast as well, which is great for the breeders, it's great for owners, it's great for lovers of racing. We're going to do it twice. So much for that early retirement. It doesn't seem to be working out too well. But these are very, very exciting things. I do want to touch on one thing when I said that it won't be without controversy. What is the biggest challenge that we have today in racing? A year ago, coming in, obviously we all knew about the financial predicament, which could be fixed with money. Changing culture, of course, gets fixed with people and leadership. You ask me today, what's the biggest challenge? Well, we're investing money in trying to upgrade, uplift our sport. Our integrity of our sport is everything, and therein is our biggest challenge. As one of the racing operators, we get to fund the NHA, right? The NHA gets funded by the racing operators. As a result of that, I get to see the NHA budget, and I get to see where money is being spent, and I get the opportunity to ask certain questions. And it is clear to me, absolutely clear, that we have a doping issue. We have an integrity issue. And doping, to me, is the biggest challenge that we have. And I'm saying this as somebody that's putting my money into the sport. I cannot have the integrity of our sport ever be questioned. What are we building then? It is absolutely fundamental. And I don't want people in this room to bury their heads in the sand. It's happening, okay? And for those of you that haven't connected the dots, if you want to go back and look at some press releases, however subtle over the last few weeks, you will see a change in the rules regarding the administering of veterinary treatment intra-articularly into the knee, into the joint, 7 days before racing. And that may not seem, maybe some of you haven't connected the dots. There's a reason for it, and there's more things to come. But the point being, we can't stand for it. For breeders in the room, it kills the stud book. What's the right form if you have cheating going on in racing? It absolutely destroys it. For those that are interested in selling our picture internationally, betting, if our racing is looked at negatively because the results and the form cannot be trusted, what are we doing this for? So my personal point of view and the stand that I'm taking is zero tolerance. Absolutely zero tolerance. And if other racing operators elsewhere in the country don't adopt the same stance, you will see a firm line drawn through this country. There will be a geographic divide. I'm not sitting here preaching unity. I'm preaching there should be absolute unilateral declaration of war on those that cheat. And it's not just because they're cheating because of... Thank you. And it's actually more than the integrity for the purpose of this business. The part that really gets to me, so just so you understand, when you administer certain things intra-articularly, it doesn't show up in the urine, doesn't show up in the blood, and that's why you're not catching people. It's the mode of delivery. It's not what's going in, it's how it's going in, okay? And we've already identified, of certain culprits, certain methods, certain everything. But what really gets to me is this. Does it make horses run faster? Maybe, but the main thing it does is it makes horses ignore the pain, which means horses that could be in pain for that fleeting minute or 2 or 3 don't feel their pain. And we know that that's not in the horse's best interest. And if there's one thing that I know about people in this room is that the love of the horse comes first, and that's what gets me more than anything. So I am considering all our options in terms of what we can do. For example, perhaps if someone's been treated by a vet that's not on our approved list, well, we own this facility. We'll decide who gets to run on our race courses. We want to have cameras in saddling enclosures. We want to have cameras in saddling boxes, because a lot of what's being done is being done just pre-saddling. It's quick acting, short-lived. We want to do whatever it takes to eradicate it, right? The horse comes first, our integrity comes first. So it wasn't the intent to be controversial. I just say it the way I see it. I'm in a position from standing here, I've got to take a stand. I do not believe in being Switzerland. I don't believe in sort of avoiding conflict. I believe in rather tackling problems head on, and it's something that I feel very passionate about. Anybody that feels the same way, anybody that has any information or ideas, I'm an open book, and I'm always available. With that, let's rather turn on to the more important thing, which is, at the end of the day, this truly needs to be a team effort. I'm asking everybody in this room, everybody that loves our sport, to all pull together to take us to the next level. So for owners, all the owners in the room, buy more horses, please. Please, buy as many, exactly, as many as you can. And by the way, spread them around. We have brilliant trainers in the Cape. Support everybody. Support everybody. I think everyone can feel that ours is a policy of inclusion. We want everybody to succeed. To the breeders, last year you were the problem children. You were the problem children because our foaling numbers were down. Please get them up. Please, please, you have amazing horses. You've got amazing mares. Let's get the breeding up. Do it. I can promise you now, racing is going from strength to strength. The commitment is we're not going anywhere. Our money's in. Our money's only increasing. Demand's going to stimulate. Don't wait for the demand to produce the supply. Okay? Supply. To our trainers, some of the initiatives have clearly worked. You've run your horses more, which is what I asked a year ago. Some of you have run them 12 times in a year and are bankrupting us slowly but surely, so that clearly worked. Please, trainers, please, I ask you, please modify some of your behaviors, though. Don't nominate 1,000 to accept one horse. You're going to drive Justin for Mark oh, he's drinking already. Come, help us. Nominate horses that you plan to accept. We just need everybody we want everybody to come to the party. Breeders, sell your horses in the Cape. Jockeys, please, I don't know how many jockeys are here, but please, ride work as much as you can, and more importantly, please be in constant communication with owners. Give them a pleasant experience. Let them get feedback on their horses. Let everybody pull together. For all those people that are interested in philanthropy and helping, we need so much help. Grooms housing, things of that nature, right? These pockets have so much in. I need help from everybody. So what I'm asking is, we're one big family. We're united by one thing, which is, well, two things: a passion for our sport and a love of the racehorse. So anybody that can and is willing to help, all help is gratefully accepted. So all that remains is to say to everybody here, thank you for being here. To all award nominees, congratulations on your nominees, on your nominations, and please have a great time, and let's have a brilliant year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. There is nothing like a message that concise and that clear. And I think all of us will offer to lay a brick or two where we can here at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth to get things going when the summer rolls round.